the victorious Team Coast members.
Thank you, Freak. I am joined by Coast, Pekin Wolf, and Mash. And gentlemen, a 3-0 series to get yourselves into the LCS. Pekin, I got to come to you first, as this is your first qualification for the LCS. How does it feel?
It feels great. I mean, I wasn't doing much 4 months ago, and then now I'm here, so it's just surreal, just going from nothing to here.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about that process, you know, the Challenger Series, as someone who has, you know, come through it from the beginning to end in qualifying for the LCS. You say you weren't doing much 4 months ago. What was kind of the impetus to get into this and realize that dream of being an LCS player?
Well, before me, they had a different mid laner, and they picked me up. I actually was inside the Challenger Series before with AKA, that won against Renegades, and we lost first round. And then after that, I was just going to wait till the next split. Maybe I'll get picked up by another team. I've never been on a really good team before. This is the first team that actually did really consistently well, and now that I'm here, and I felt we were probably going to make LCS no matter what, considering how good we did inside the Challenger Series too. So.
And part of that consistency and stellar play comes from you as well, Mash, a more storied career in the LCS, both in and out. You've been through the Challenger Series multiple times. You know, for you, what is different about this Coast roster, this lineup, this time around, than any of the other previous teams you've been on?
For this team, it's like our team synergizes really well. And this time around, I'm actually doing the leadership role as shot calling. And it's actually really hard for an AD carry, but I'm getting used to it. Instead of like worrying about like my own play, I have to worry about like everything, what the team's doing, and controlling what's happening on the map.
Well, by your side, you have Saint Vicious now as the coach, who is another, you know, big veteran. He's been through the Challenger Series as well. He played through the LCS, been on many teams, had, you know, different degrees of success. What has having him on the team helped you with in terms of fulfilling that leadership role?
When we're doing scrims and he's coaching, he's like telling me like what to call, giving me like small reminders, and he tells me that I have to do it myself later on in the game, which I did. He's like, I can't be calling for this for you, so you gotta do it later on, and I think we did okay.
Yeah, well, the 3-0 would speak to you doing all right. Now, Pekin Wolf, when playing in the Challenger Finals against RNG, it was a much tougher series. Went 5 games. You guys definitely had some ups and downs. We even had a video feature earlier in the day where you spoke a little bit about the fact that maybe you were a little overconfident and made some missteps in that series. What did you guys work on specifically between that series and here that you were able to come out in such more dominant fashion against an LCS team?
I think we were a lot more prepared inside pick ban, definitely. We were able to ban out things that would really pressure me, just like inside the Renegade game, I was really pressured by certain picks, and they would camp me mid a lot and send their support up. And this game, when they did come up, I had someone who was able to get away with the Azir, and I was able to live and just farm out the lane, and that's ultimately what made the game probably a lot easier since I wasn't so pressured by other people.
Now, recognizing some weaknesses and fixing them there, you've now got about 4 months ahead of you until the LCS Spring split. So a lot of time now to continue to work as a team. Mash, can you give me any insight as to what the plan is for Coast moving into the Spring split?
I think we're all gonna take, obviously, like probably like 1 or 2 month break, play some other video games, you know, enjoy time with family. But once we're back, we're probably going to be scrimming a lot. And I think during the downtime as well, play some little bit of League, prevent decay on your Challenger accounts, etc. All
right. And Pekin, we have another series today ahead of us still. We've got Teammate versus Imagine. Thoughts on that? Are we going to see a third Challenger team qualify for the LCS?
I think it's actually going to be a really even series between those two.
All right. What do you think that matchup is going to hinge on specifically? Is there specific lanes, certain players that you're looking at that can really, you know, turn the tides?
I feel like the biggest difference is probably the bot lane and having Steelback. I think Steelback's one of IMG's strongest members, and if he goes off, he can carry a game.
Mash, thoughts as well on that matchup?
I totally agree with that. Steelback's actually really good. I think he'll probably play better on LAN.
Okay.
And it also depends on Cali Trolls as well. He's kind of looking a little off, but I think it'll be a really close series, probably like 3-2 or something, both ways.
All right, well, hopefully it is an exciting one. Gentlemen, congratulations on your 3-0 dominant win there over Enemy and qualifying for the LCS. I look forward to casting your games in the spring. Now for some final thoughts on that series, we're going to send it back to the caster desk.
Thank you very much, Dash. A great interview in the day so far. Kobe, that was honestly not how I expected the series to go. So the individual players, I saw, right? I really expected a great game, especially matchup-wise for Chris. That happened. I expected good things out of Shrimp. His Elise in Game 2 especially was freaking scary. And Inox was a great mid laner. Inox did so much work for Enemy eSports, but, I mean, so much broke apart. Coast with big leads almost every single time.
Yeah. It really was a battle of those two, the relegation kings, I guess.
Yeah.
Chris and Inox. And, you know, it's kind of fitting, I guess, that Chris got to destroy the last Nexus himself to get back in once again.
Yeah.
The only problem, as he's talked about, he hasn't found the success once he's into the LCS. He's got a new team, new coaching staff. They need to change that story.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they can change that story here. Now, guys, we want to talk about our player of the series, and that is going to be Chris, that Coast top laner. I mean, who else was it going to be? Gangplank in Game 1, the double Olafs. And he was empowered to make so many plays for the team. The Baron steal, I think, actually salvaged this mid-game for Coast.
Oh, man, that was huge for them.
Yeah.
Not only the actual Baron, but also just the morale hit that enemy took after that steal. And a huge boost for his team. This guy definitely deserves the most valuable player of the series.
He absolutely does. This is a player who's actually been allowed to make really good split push plays as well. We've seen games in Challenger where, you know, he will be able to set up tower dives like 25 minutes in to 1v1 the enemy top laner or bring the jungler in 2v1 it and keep that push going. He's got a big champion pool of very strong top laners to take over games. We'll see if he can do that in the LCS. He's a player I'm excited to watch because I think he has a very fun style. It's just a matter of him keeping that level of play up against
And he can get his jungler to camp his lane really hard.
Yeah, and Shrimp is very good at producing tents here. Now, guys, there is still one spot left to be decided. When we return, Team Imaginable face off against Team 8. The Spring Promotion Tournament continues in just 3.5 minutes. Stick with us. Conk 1.5, the taunt comes in, a lot of damage, but of course he's got a Kalista support, so he's going to be safe. Flares goes down for nothing, but a big burst comes out, and Peekwolf kills off Trashy. The hook onto Otter. Otter's the next one to die, a double kill for Peekwolf.
I'm coming.
Victor, 2 seconds.
Mash me. Close.
Nice.
Can they get the secure? Shrimp going to get knocked around a little bit. He's going to go, and he will not. Oh!
Nice. Allie. I vote for you.
It's a base rush, but Chris could win the game.